I've always considered myself an artist. I started drawing seriously around 4th or 5th grade, laying out characters I had imagined with my friends in sketchbook after sketchbook. I keep those relics under my bed now and still carry one with me most days, still creating art that speaks to me and represents my worldview. However, when my life becomes stagnant, it becomes increasingly more difficult for me to create physical art. I discovered this in the 2020 COVID lockdown. I had very few people to talk to in my life, and I felt trapped, stifled, and lost. I went into a sort of art paralysis. I needed more than just my house and myself. After all, change is good. In moderation, that is. A year ago, my high school graduation was fast approaching and life was abuzz. I was busy all hours of the day, getting things done, making memories, preparing to leave my town behind. I picked up a graduation cap and gown. It sat in my room for a while, till graduation was a week away and I turned to my paint and pen. I wanted the cap to mean something, but I was stuck. And when I'm stuck, I turn to Pinterest. It feels like cheating sometimes, but something about seeing other people's work inspires me to create my own. In fact, it was another artist who finally got me drawing again after COVID and recovered my mental state in the months following. Inspiration and dialogue on art means the world to me. So there I was on Pinterest, looking at cap after cap. I knew I wanted to incorporate words, song lyrics, and I knew I wanted it to be a reflection of me, whimsical, kaleidoscopic. Eventually, I came across a painting of a butterfly spread out on a newspaper with half its wings covered in flowers, and that became my inspiration. In literature, butterflies are most commonly known as a symbol for change, more specifically, a change that brings about hope, finding a new beginning. Rebirth. After all, the life cycle of a butterfly encapsulates a pure form of transformation, the chrysalis taking a lowly caterpillar into an ephemeral and ethereal beauty. A delicate and quick-lasting picture of life, embracing the light of the sun before passing on. In many cultures, a butterfly is seen as a journey of a person's soul, and further, the growth that comes when one is searching for their purpose in the world. The first use of the word psyche in writing was penned by Aristotle while discussing a butterfly. In this context, psyche is meaning the human soul or spirit, although the goddess was often pictured with a butterfly as well. This association with a soul or spirit was due to how, at this time, the cocoon a caterpillar spins was likened unto a tomb. Therefore, when the butterfly broke out of its casing, it was as if a soul had burst free of the prison-like tomb of death. Rebirth, in its simplest meaning. As Maya Angelou said, we delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but rarely admit the changes it has gone through to achieve that beauty. I resonate with this quote greatly as someone who, in the past, has never felt comfortable acknowledging my own hardships and subsequently my negative emotions. Even my close friends have never seen me cry. It's not that I mind this about myself most days, but it does lead one to forget the challenge in the transitions and the changes. I am exactly the person Angelo calls out with this quote, only delighting in the beauty. I have a poem I wrote in the fall of my senior year titled Death Before Rebirth. It's a personal poem written after an oddly intrusive thought on a late-night drive home. It reads, An hour ago she wandered and wondered along the day after day road. What would occur if she decidedly careened off the decided path? Death before rebirth. An hour ago she waited and wondered, desperate for new beginnings, how much it would hurt if she violently thrust herself off into a violent end. Death before rebirth. An hour ago she wandered and waited and wondered no longer, and sat in a wrecked car and replayed that twist of the wrist over and over and over, and could never determine. Death before rebirth. I don't share my short-form writing often, and this poem in particular is difficult to hand out to just anyone, as I feel on a surface level it can be hard to know how a person will react and how they will think of me after reading it. Yet, this poem fits so perfectly into my dialogue on butterflies that I simply couldn't allow myself not to include it in my analysis. Circling back to literature's association of butterflies with rebirth and change, this poem tells the thought process of wanting to leave behind a life that is expected of you. Change at such a massive scale that it becomes a death of sorts, a tomb of possibility, either for better or worse, death or rebirth. Shedding who others expect you to be is a risk, a chance of shattering a level of comfortability you had known before, entering a cocoon and hoping that somehow you will emerge at the other end as something more honest and lovely than before. That's hard work, and it deserves to be delighted in, coated in a gossamer shine and held in awe by passerby, a validation that it can all be worth it. And these were the thoughts that ran through my head as I stared at my phone. Butterflies, the animals I have adored for years, perfectly summing up so many experiences I had with the process of change I had started earlier that year, and I would continue in the coming months at college. I quickly got to work on my art project. I coated the cap in a layer of paper, painting it a milkweed white, and then writing out a background of song lyrics that incorporated the theme of flying. In fact, a decent few of them were written by the very friend who had brought me out of my COVID slump and into a world where I felt safe to be myself. I was glad to carry a piece of them that night. I started working on the butterfly. Like the original inspiration, the butterfly was asymmetrical, one side of pink flowers, the other of red wings. Pink became a symbol of younger me, a sweet and rose-colored glass girl who had never imagined the places she could go. The red became a symbol of change, and the transition to wings a transformation, the emergence of a butterfly that has grown to fly as a courageous and determined person. And that is what I walked the stage with. Butterfly wings behind me and a future ahead. I do hope that you resonate with this little video in some way, as change is a universal human experience. I hope you are able to see the beauty in your own experiences and know that they matter, even if they are as small and fleeting as a butterfly. Growth is a difficult thing, and yet we all feel pulled to change, whether it be from within ourselves or from the friends that surround us each day. And as butterflies travel in kaleidoscopes of fluttering hope, I know there's people in our lives who will always do the same. My love goes out to those people in my life because truly, no soul should be made to travel alone. It's been wonderful sharing these thoughts with you all, and I welcome further discussion in the comments. Say hi, share with your friends, or use this as your very own inspiration. And most importantly, stay kaleidoscopic.